go.
Sure.
Welcome back. It's time that we talk about a festival that, believe it or not, is bigger than Park City, Utah. I know. I'm still getting used to it. Only bigger by a factor of about 100,000. If you have been living under a rock, then you may not be familiar with it, but it is a cultural phenomenon that continues to grow and is very, very important to very many Americans and people from all over the world who do just that. Make their way to Black Rock City, Nevada for the Burning Man Festival. This evening, I am going to be chatting with a fellow who is the chairman of Element 11, which is a cousin, and I may need to be corrected in that regard, but for nomenclature's sake, a cousin of the much bigger Burning Man that takes place here in Utah, out on the flats. He's the chairman, and he's going to have a really fantastic time at Burning Man. It is my pleasure to introduce to you Mr. Stan Clausen. How are you, brother?
Good, Terry. Thanks for having me on.
Good to see you. Absolutely.
You too.
I just want to say right off the bat that I'm so deeply impressed with your mustache.
Yeah.
You must be a hit with the ladies, the men, and everyone in between.
Well, the mustache is good. They do like it. It's really open for all, really.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's kind of the way I feel. I'm
this
an equal
has no.
slasher.
This does not discriminate. This facial hair, and you are growing one too.
Well,
and I'm really impressed by it.
Thank you so much. As we discussed before we came on air, it was a little bit of an accident, but here we are.
Yeah.
I'm twisting.
No, it's good. Once you go down the handlebar path, it's like that scene.
Is there no going back?
Oh no, there's no going back. It's like when Dorothy opens the door in The Wizard of Oz, and your world changes from sepia tone to vivid Technicolor.
Technicolor.
That's what you can expect from the mustache.
From continuing the mustache.
It's the most incredible experience one can have.
Hashtag that mustache life, though.
Hashtag that mustache life, though. It's fun, yeah. And some days it doesn't work too well, but you know.
It's true, but at least I don't have a lot of time with the upper reaches of the cranium.
That's okay. That's okay.
I saved some time there.
Give it all you got here.
Absolutely.
That's what matters.
Welcome.
Thank you.
How excited are you?
Well, a week from right now, I should be polling into Burning Man. So we'll see what happens. I get excited every year, but usually I only get excited once I'm approaching the gate. It's the anxiety of packing and making sure you didn't leave the stove on and all of that other stuff. Right. So, but I am getting excited. This will be my 9th Burning Man and 9th consecutive Burning Man, and so I never thought I would go more than once. And now I'm addicted to the thing, and I love it. It's amazing. So
that's fantastic. Yeah. If you would, for folks who may not be as familiar with it, and I'm just actually also curious to kind of hear your characterization of someone who is truly a part of the community, how you characterize what Burning Man is and what its cultural importance is.
You know, that's such a big question. Somebody once said, explaining Burning Man is like describing the taste of tangerine. Right? It's just, there's really no way to describe it except to experience it. But one of the things that I like to say is that Burning Man is really that ultimate manifest of human creativity. And it is really the place where people go to just absolutely be amazed. When I first heard about Burning Man, I thought of it as like a Mad Max world.
Right.
I didn't really know what it was, and it was my aunt and uncle that actually told me about Burning Man.
Interesting.
And this was back in 2000, and so it took me 9 years to get to Burning Man. I love our little guest here.
Yes, our little buddy, Mr. Buddy.
Look at him. Oh no, they don't allow pets at Burning Man, unfortunately. So.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, they don't.
I was thinking about that.
Yeah.
I kind of had that question in my
but,
mind, and I kind of thought, they can't. They just can't.
It's too much. There's too many loud noises, and I think it'd be really tough.
It's the desert. It's
the desert.
Very extreme. And of course, dogs, they do stuff. They run off at times.
That's true.
It's a high-risk activity running off in the desert.
It's a high-risk activity, and that's not to say that they can't get down and party with the best of them. It just means that it's probably not the best environment for them.
That's true.
But anyways, it was really interesting going to Burning Man for my first time because it was like an episode of Star Trek. You enter a world that is absolutely science fiction. You're no longer on planet Earth. And in 2009, I went to my first Burning Man, and I was just immediately blown away. I could not believe that it had taken me that long to get to Black Rock City, which is the name of the city that Burning Man
creates
every year. Yeah,
pops up.
Yeah, I think it's the 5th largest city in Nevada for one 10-day span in a year, and it's incredible.
And what is the capacity? I know they limit it, so to speak.
Yeah, it's about 68,000. So it's about 68,000 people who.
I think I said
descend on it.
750,000, but
No. It tends to feel like that sometimes, but it's really not that bad. I know a lot of people say, well, I don't really like large crowds, but it's spread out over a really large area. And I don't know the actual, size, but it's an absolutely fascinating place. So in the daytime, it has its own characteristic, and then at nighttime, all of the lights come on, and all of the people put their lights on, and it becomes this glowing world that it's unbelievable. It's almost like it was that feeling I had when I went to Disneyland as a kid.
Sure.
And you're just amazed at everything you see, and oh, look at that, and what's that? And then you go to Burning Man as an adult, and you're like, well, this is my new Disneyland, right? It's incredible. It's absolutely wonderful.
And you don't outgrow it. Of course, a lot of people don't outgrow Disneyland either.
Right, a lot of people don't, you don't outgrow it, and I think what you do is it's whatever you want to take away from it. So originally when I went, I just wanted to go and experience something. And I didn't realize how far down that rabbit hole I would go.
Right.
Which is to say that, 9 years later, I'm still going.
Yeah.
And not only that, I found our local Burning Man community locally in Utah and became actively involved in that community to the point where I got involved on the board of directors for our regional Burning Man. The cousin or the nephew or whatever, the niece or whatever, the buddies. The buddies. And it's an officially sanctioned Burning Man event. Element 11 is endorsed by Burning Man. It's a little bit smaller, and it's one of many regionals across the world, which is really incredible. So Burning Man is not just this Nevada entity.
Right.
It exists throughout the world with this giant global regional network. I mean, they have a burn in Israel. They have a burn in Africa, the Africa burn. They have a Brazil burn, and then they have burns in states all over the United States. It's really incredible. And so I wanted to get involved. It just captured my imagination in such a way, and being an artist, I thought, oh, this is sort of unlocked that creativity that I always kind of had, but didn't really have a vehicle for it or a way to release it, and Burning Man was that. It was just, it blew my mind. And it's hard to describe Burning Man because when you talk to a lot of people, they think of it as, they sort of minimize it down to a party with a bunch of naked people.
Right.
And it's really not that. It is about community. It is about creative expression, building art. I mean, it's where techies go. It's where the Silicon Valley folks go to beta test a lot of their amazing technology that will then go into everyday use.
Sure.
So Elon Musk goes. You've got
we were discussing that there's
Elon Musk goes. You've got
centimillionaire
Katy Perry goes on her Segway.
I'm going.
Yeah, right. So everybody goes, and that's not to say that celebrities go, but it is to say that there is something that captures the imagination of everybody. And when you're out there, it doesn't matter whether you're a celebrity or whether you're just whoever. Like me, you're all the same. It levels the playing field. It simply becomes community. It's about gifting. It's about creating a world that we want to have, a better world overall. Do they have music? Do they have dancing? Yeah, of course they do. Of course they do. But I don't like to think of that as like a party. I like to think of that as a celebration of life. And tribes have been celebrating around the campfire for as long as humans have lived on this planet, as long as apes have lived on this planet.
As long as we've had fire, we've been gathering around it.
Exactly. And so there's a need for humans to come together to celebrate life, to create, to tell stories, to share their artwork, and it's really, there is no money exchange out there, with the exception of if you need to buy ice or coffee. That's the only money exchange out there. And in fact, the idea is decommodification, which is gifting. So when we go out there, the idea of the burner is to go out and gift. And that gift could be a joke or a song, or it could be bringing an art car, or it could be bringing a camp that caters to some interesting thing like serving coffee or Bloody Marys, or whatever you want to do, grilled cheese sandwiches. But it's the idea of just gifting, and I think that's really kind of an amazing thing. And not only gifting,
Really
but
beautiful.
gifting without the expectation of receiving something in return.
Right. The
And that's really
like-kind
important.
exchange that's not it.
You got it.
That's really cool.
So it is an amazing experience. Burning Man is just one of those things that it has changed my life, and I know that kind of sounds weird, and my mom even says, sounds like a religion. Sounds like you found your new religion. And I said, no, it's not a religion, but it definitely, there's an ethos that is, when you look at Burning Man and you look at the 10 principles that are the foundation of Burning Man, leave no trace.
Right.
For 1 week the city appears and then it disappears and there is nothing left behind. It's unlike Coachella, where you leave and there's trash everywhere.
Sure, there's people
who just
cleaning up
whatever,
for
okay.
a week.
Yeah, but you go to Burning Man and it is, you pack it in, you pack it out. There is no trace of your existence there if you're doing it right.
Yes,
Right.
it occurs to me that as you were sort of describing the way that people perceive this event,
Yeah.
it's not just an event, it's a culture.
Yeah.
It's a state of consciousness, and it's a community that it's very clear, especially as the years have gone by, and even for somebody like me who hasn't yet been there,
Yeah.
as I know more and more people, and this year, of course, the internet's blowing up right now
Oh, yeah.
about next week, and all my
Yep.
homies who are going.
Yeah.
It's all of those things.
is.
It's a way to change your life. It's a
Absolutely.
way to reset. It's so many
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
And so to sort of say, well, it's just an event, like talk to a burner and of course our mutual friend Kevin Rapp, who was part
Yeah,
of
that's
the
right.
Dusty Boxcar and the Utah contingent.
Yep.
I mean, it's really a year-round thing for him, and friendships grow out of it
Absolutely.
that continue all year long, and it's
Yeah.
really a cool thing.
Absolutely. I met Kevin through this Burning Man experience, and I think of all the friendships that I've created as a result of Burning Man, and I also like to think of Burning Man as that. It's almost like the conference you go to at work, where you better your skills, and I think of it in that way, because I go, I learn a lot, and I take that back to my community.
Right.
I try to use Burning Man as a springboard for not only creativity, but bringing back this idea of radical self-expression, or radical creativity, or radical self-reliance. All of those things that are radical, but definitely you want to bring back to a culture to say, hey, you know what? Let's have a little fun. Let's shake things up a little bit. Let's add a little bit more color to our daily palette, and really take our life to that next level, and do those things that just make it fun for all of us. Yeah.
And it occurs to me as you're speaking lovingly and caringly about this event,
Yeah.
that one of the things that must happen out there is a reset of this culture that we live in, and I don't just mean American culture, but the year 2017 on Earth culture doesn't quite have, and I always love the way William S. Burroughs said, interdependence. And when you're gifting, when you can't run to the Sev,
Yeah.
and you can't just say, I don't like this party, I'm gonna go ahead and go home.
Right. Absolutely.
It's not a thing.
It's not a thing. Yeah, and one of the things that's a really interesting topic too, because for me especially, I use Burning Man as sort of a way to. I know I keep saying I use Burning Man. I don't want to think I'm using Burning Man, but when I go to the burn. I also, using a wheelchair, it's a way for me to see how far I can go with accessibility, and to put myself in that desert environment that is not necessarily the most wheelchair accessible. It is, in the sense that it's really, really flat, but it's a very harsh environment for anybody, let alone somebody who uses a wheelchair who has a disability. And so for me, I use it as my annual sort of test, my trial by fire, to go, okay, I'm putting myself in a very harsh environment. I want to see how I do. And so I try to be as independent as I possibly can. I try to do as much as I possibly can. I've got a golf cart that I use to drive around.
I was going to ask if you had like a special rig.
Yeah.
And I was sort of picturing like this rig only with some super burly like off-road tires on it.
No, I
suppose
do.
a golf cart is not bad too.
No, I've got my off-road tires, and I even have a wheel. It's called a free wheel that actually lifts up my front casters so they don't dig in the dirt or the dust.
Right.
And it just makes getting around so much easier. And so,
cool.
yeah, I do all these things because I want to be as independent as I possibly can. Do I still ask for help out there? Of course I do. Do I still offer help out there? Of course I do. I want to do those things that are sort of interdependent, where we are helping each other. That's part of that community experience, right? We are community. Everybody needs help. But out there, I try to see how far I can go just being independent, and it is pretty incredible to see what that feels like from the perspective of somebody with a disability. And also, it's just such a harsh environment. So by the end of the week, it's exhausting.
Sure.
You're tired. You're dusty. You're dirty. You're tired. You know, hopefully you're hydrating and you're doing what you need to do to keep yourself healthy. But by Monday, you're ready to probably go home and take a nice long shower and watch Netflix and
Creature
do whatever.
comforts.
Creature comforts,
exactly,
yeah. So,
exactly.
So yeah, but it is an extraordinary experience, and there's something about it that even though it is taxing in many ways, I keep coming back. I keep coming back for more.
Clearly, 9 times.
Oh yeah, it's just there's something about it that it's like I love that. I need that in my life, as many people do. There's something about it that when you see Burning Man, whether it's in the day or whether it's in the night, it is mind blowing.
Yeah. So we're going to put up some pictures that you have brought along, and if you want, take a look at our little narration, if you like, as we go through these.
Absolutely. So this is, and this is really one of the big things that I'm excited to talk about this year. This is the Temple of Awareness. This is an art piece that we are bringing to Burning Man this year that is being built by the Utah Builders community. And the Utah Builders community is really this ensemble of creatives, of builders, of artists who are building this temple as a gift to the larger Burning Man world. And really it's a way to say thank you for supporting us in a very, very difficult time. And the difficult time was in 2014 at our Element 11 event. We had a young man run into our burning effigy. And that was, as you can imagine, that was a tremendously horrific event. About 12,000 people, or 1,200 people saw that firsthand. And so you have this beautiful artistic structure that is burning, that was created to celebrate life, and an individual chose to end their own life by running into it. And as a result of that, the community really banded together. It sort of called upon the bigger Burning Man world, and the larger Burning Man community, including Burning Man itself, they were absolutely supportive. They showed so much love in this really difficult time to reach out and say, hey, this could be any one of us. Like any one of us could have experienced this event. And
what a beautiful, sensitive honor to get to continue to heal, and I'm sure that that's a very long-term activity for those folks that were at E11 at that time.
Absolutely.
And without getting stuck on that, it's still a really beautiful thing, especially because you know, Utahns, next door neighbors to Nevada, and as such, a really dedicated burn community here.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We have a really tremendous community here, and you know, this has been such a great catapult to put us on the bigger world stage in not a negative way, but in a way that we're taking something that was tragic and creating this absolutely stunning, beautiful piece from it, and actually, it is the first and largest piece that, not the first, but it is the largest piece that Utah has brought to Burning Man
Wow.
in the 31 years that Burning Man has existed. And so what we have done is we have now taken this and channeled that energy into something that is absolutely beautiful.
That's brilliant.
And it's exciting to be a part of that, because you have a dedicated team of people, many of whom were at the event in 2014 and saw that tragedy, and they are channeling that energy and saying, you know what, we are so thankful to the larger community for their support and love in that very dark moment, that we want to not only gift back by bringing this amazing temple, but we also want to bring awareness to that larger idea of suicide. That larger idea that there are people.
Yes, rather than.
Right, yeah, instead of pushing away, because that's a tough subject, whatever your views on it, and that's a larger discussion, but whatever your views on it, it touches the lives of everybody. And if you have ever experienced or been connected to somebody who has chosen to end their life, you have emotions that range from A to Z. And so what we wanted to do is create something that was absolutely respectful and wanted to honor that pain that people feel.
Yes.
And do it in a way that people could go to this temple and find closure. And not maybe closure for the people who were at Element 11 2014, but also closure for anybody who's experienced suicide.
Yes.
And not only suicide, but just people who are struggling with whatever that thing is in their life. Self-acceptance or depression, or it could be the loss of a loved one, to natural causes. It could be a number of things, but temples at Burning Man have always traditionally been a place where people can go to find solace, to let go of something, or to grieve, or to whatever that thing is that you need to release, to heal.
Recover. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations on that distinction, that honor, and we got to do a little business before we go. A couple of things are, I try to do this when I have an opportunity on live television to make a promise to myself and to our live audience. So I'm going to look directly into the camera now and say that I will definitely make Burning Man one of these years. I will definitely be at E11 next year. And so there's that.
Excellent.
But importantly, we need to do web and other resources. Tell folks, even if obviously
Absolutely.
Burning Man's starting, there are no last-minute ticket releases. It doesn't work that way.
You might be able to find one, but it's it's getting harder and harder to get.
It's the dark market at this point.
Yeah, absolutely,
for sure.
absolutely.
But websites for E11 and for Burning Man for people for information.
Absolutely. So if you're interested, burningman.org is the big website for Burning Man. Element11.org is Element 11. That's our regional Burning Man website. The big one is UtahBuildersCommunity.com, and that is the website it'll give you a lot more information about the Temple of Awareness, which is the project that we're bringing out to the Burn this year. And there's about 24 active team members building that temple, and they're on the fly right now building it. They are building it right now, and we have had countless volunteers who have helped build this project. I mean, all last week, people building every single night to get this thing ready to go out onto the playa. And so you can go and see what that was all about on the Utah Builders Community website, and also on the Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Utah Builders. And those,
Utah Builders.
Yeah, and so you can go and learn more about the Temple of Awareness, and you can see what is being done. But it's an absolutely incredible project, and so many people have really devoted a lot of their time to make this temple just an extraordinary experience, and to really bring some closure to this incident, and hopefully awareness to the lives of people around us. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Stan,
Terry,
I've had such a wonderful time meeting you.
You too,
and listening to you. You're a fascinating gentleman.
Oh, well, thank you.
And it's just great. I hope we get a chance to spend more time together again
on the playa
soon.
At Element 11 or at Burning Man.
At E11.
Absolutely.
And who knows? Hopefully before that. Thank you for coming. Have a wonderful and safe and rewarding time. We'll look forward to seeing you again soon.
Thanks, Terry.
Stan Clausen, he's the chairman of Element 11 Org here in Utah. We're going to take a break. We're all going to think about Burning Man, and then we're going to have some more music from Creature, double feature, the psychedelic duo, Because I Love You.